everyone, and welcome to Our Two Cents. I'm your host, Clinton Smith. I'm also the CEO of GCES. I'm here with Linda Lehmann, a transformation and mindset coach, and I'm also here with our financial advisor, Galen Bargerstock. Galen and Linda, how are you both today?
Fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. We're so glad you're here. Yeah. You know, honestly, guys, if you're talking about the universe and the universe working in amazing ways, this is totally a story of being in the right place at the right time and synchronicity in the things that you do in our day-to-day life. And that's really what we're going to talk about today. You know, we met Linda at a life advancement center called Rythmia in Costa Rica. Galen and I went down in March for my 41st birthday. I know you guys can't tell that I am 41 because of all the bright lights and the makeup, but I did turn 41 while we were there.
Yeah.
So, in your words, Linda, what is Rythmia?
Well, what's exciting about Rythmia is it truly is what the name is. It's an advanced life center, and it's all about understanding who we really are.
Yeah.
And the reason I was drawn to it is because I really wanted to know that I was fulfilling my life purpose.
Yeah. And that's really, I bet you that. So Linda, you are, to give a little bit more background about yourself, which we are going to talk all about Linda in our next episode. So make sure you guys tune in next week. We're going to be doing a whole episode with Linda next week. That's kind of like a 2-part mini-series where we talk all about health, wealth, and happiness, which is really what drew us to you at first, because our motto is health, wealth, and happiness, and yours is health is our wealth in what you do. And Rythmia, a life advancement center, is a place where people go. There were a lot of entrepreneurs there, but it's about finding your life purpose, healing childhood trauma, and coming out on the back end a different, changed, new person, a better version of yourself, I would almost say.
Yeah.
Galen, what did you think about Rythmia?
I absolutely loved my time there. It was an 11 out of 10 experience that I will only experience one time. Well, I'm going to experience it many times, I think, but the first time was definitely the best. And you know, we're going to talk about miracles and finding your miracle during this episode, and I definitely found mine. So that's why I wanted to talk about it.
Yeah. So I know, Linda, on your tagline somewhere on the internet, it says coaching and building a community to embrace and connecting with our inner source by committing to personal growth as we transform into being the best version of ourselves. To me, that kind of sums up, I think, why a lot of people go to Rythmia and what it is that you're there for. So tell me, how does this work with Rythmia, with what you do in your day-to-day life?
So what I do on my day-to-day basis is I have been so fortunate that I realized actually when I turned 50 is that I want to be the best version of myself. And literally that's what drew me to go to Rythmia, because I wanted to get in touch with my inner source and just to know that I am fulfilling my purpose with my community. I'll be honest, I'm very humble to say, but I am like a magnet for a lot of these typically older women or even gentlemen that they've realized that there's more to life. And so that's how I embraced Rythmia, because all the modalities that we did there, everything from yoga to learning, breath work, and just really getting in touch with yourself, really assisted me with what I do for a living.
Yeah. Which we, at GCES, we talk about health, wealth, and happiness. Galen and I believe in doing that. This is a financial show. We're here to talk about financial topics, and we are talking about probably one of the most hippy-dippy, spiritual, lovey-dovey, get in touch with your feelings. I mean, dudes were crying together. Mm-hmm. Galen, you know what it was like when you were there. I mean, we come out on the other side completely different people from our experience there, and we are here today to share that with you guys and share information about Rythmia. There's going to be a QR code if you want more information to go find out more about them. But Galen, it changed your life, and I think that's part of the reason why we want to continue to share that with other people.
It did. I think everything that a person person does in their life has some sort of financial aspect wrapped around it. You know, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Like you said, the people that flock towards you are people that are looking to better themselves. You know, everybody wants to better themselves. And Rythmia, you know, there's a lot of places that will do an ayahuasca retreat, but I am going to recommend Rythmia for the program that they have. And
Rythmia is also the only licensed place in the world to do this. So it is the only licensed ayahuasca retreat.
Okay.
And let's touch on that real quick.
Okay.
You have a history in plant medicine that you can probably tell us the easiest way to sum up, because it is a psychedelic drug or a psychedelic substance that is used in plant medicine. Can you tell us or tell everyone at home what that is?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So I am just going to share my belief in the fact the indigenous people, they really knew what they were doing. There's so much out there in the jungle, and to understand the plant medicine that once you go through that experience, it totally gets you in touch with yourself.
Yeah.
And it does everything from just healing, like you mentioned, healing your heart.
Yeah.
And the fact is, it's a natural way to just really get in touch with yourself. And just everything about Rythmia was the safety with all the training, the trained shamans there, that this is what they believe in. It's their religion, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I just can't get enough of the fact that it was so safe.
Yeah. And ayahuasca is I think they said it was a 5,000-year-old plant that the indigenous people of South America used. And they came across it. Did you guys hear this story about the leopard? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
You do, because of course we spent a week there together in the same room. So of course you heard about it. Yeah. So the story is that a long time ago, 5,000 years ago or so, that there was an indigenous tribe in Colombia or somewhere, I don't know where it was, but somewhere South America, where they saw black panthers or leopards, and they were playing together. Black panthers were like docile and being nice and playing together. And the indigenous people there realized that was weird, like this is different. So then they found out that they were eating the ayahuasca, and that was causing them to be docile and change them. So then, of course, human nature, everyone was like, oh, let's try that too. Yeah. And they did, and that's where it ended up going down, where a lot of people have the same experience, where it's a spiritual experience, where you meet the mother ayahuasca. And psychedelics are a huge thing right now. It's growing for treating stuff like PTSD, stress, anxiety, and I think that's a lot of the reason that people go there too. Would you guys agree?
For sure.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah. And like Clint said too, is that there are a lot of entrepreneurs there that are just trying to advance themselves, just get over that feeling of stuck, and this is why this is the beauty of the plant medicine. Yeah. And to understand that it isn't a drug, that it's natural. Yeah.
And guys, if you watched our episode last week, we haven't recorded since that. We went to ayahuasca since that last time. And I don't know if it's going to show up on camera, but I feel a whole lot lighter. I know you guys have had a great experience, and we all collectively got our miracle while we were there. But when we come back from this break in just a moment, we're going to be talking more about what it was like and how we actually got our miracles at the Rythmia Life Advancement Center in Costa Rica. We'll be back in just a moment.
Right now, thousands of federal employees are facing job cuts, uncertainty, and financial instability.
We've seen it before. One day you have a steady career, and the next day your position is gone.
If you're a federal employee, the question isn't what if, it's are you ready?
And honestly, most people aren't, and that's the biggest mistake you can make.
Your TSP, your benefits, your future. If you don't have a plan, you're already behind.
Do you know what happens to your TSP if you lose your federal job? Should you do a rollover? Should you make a withdrawal? Or should you do nothing?
At GCES, we've helped thousands of federal employees since 2010. We know the ins and outs of the TSP, FEGLI, and federal benefits.
If job cuts are coming, don't wait until it's too late. Let's make sure your future is secure no matter what happens next.
As people, we strive for better, from a better house to a better career to a better life for our kids. But when it comes to your retirement, what does better mean to you? More income, a flexible lifestyle, better solutions? A better retirement begins with a plan. To get your complimentary financial analysis, call the number you see here. Your retirement isn't going to plan itself, and this is your opportunity to plan better.
Everybody, welcome back to Our Two Cents. I'm here with Linda Lehmann and Galen Bargerstock, and we're talking all about Rythmia in Costa Rica, a life advancement center that is literally something that changed all of our lives collectively in the same week.
Yeah.
So we want to talk about getting your miracle, because that is something that was discussed whenever, earlier in this episode. A lot of people go to Rythmia to try to get their miracle, whether that's, and it's different for everyone, but they have steps that they lead you through while you're there. And the first step is to show me who I become, right? So do you want to tell everyone at home what that really meant for you and what that meant? Like, show me who I become. Tell me about what that step means.
So, I mean, show me who I've become for myself. You have to really look inside of yourself, inside of your soul, and say, hey, who am I? How am I here right now in this very minute? And do I like this person? Do I not like this person? What are we going to accomplish today?
Yeah.
So that the biggest thing for, I think, everybody that goes to it is that first step, show me who I've become.
Yeah. And Linda, I know you got your miracle on the first night.
Good.
Show me who I become. To me, it was all about childhood trauma. Right? And what was the trauma that I went through as a child that then made me do the things that I do today, right? So that you can then ultimately better yourself from those things and, change. How was that experience for you for that first step?
Okay, so what was the most fantastic thing one of the fantastic things about Rythmia is not only are you educated prior to going to the plant healing, which is the ceremony, and we have 4 of them throughout the week. And so yes, that first evening, I was just really dialed into the fact that what is my purpose? And going into that inner self is when that was my night, was right away Monday night. Where I really was, just like said, dialed into my intention. And it was where it literally took me back to my childhood. And I realized here it is, I'm the youngest of 5. And I knew growing up there was a lot of judgment and a lot of comparison. And I just wanted to know that, I was a healthy, young, inner child, and I went way back there, and I even was, talking to my parents, and it was just so lovely that that was my night. I did a lot of sobbing, and it was all good tears. I mean, when the dawn came, when the ceremony was over, I felt like a different person.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, and you got that on the first night, so that was good. I got that
on the first night.
Yeah. So Rythmia, they do a lot of studies. This place is not like you're sweating it in a yurt somewhere. You're in a 5-star resort, and it is an awesome place. It's and in that, they have all these steps. Like, they've done this with tons of people, right? So their first step was show me who I become, which is you looking at yourself as a person and what you do in your day-to-day life caused by trauma that happened to you when you were a child. The second step is, what was the second step? I'm drawing a blank. Show me who I become, merge me back with my soul.
Yeah,
right. And their last step was heal my heart. And this is things that they talk about throughout the week, the entire time, where, it's not just that you're going and doing the medicine at ceremony. They're actually teaching you during the day how to deal with doing the ceremony and how to actually get the most out of the experience. So they do have a 97% success rate, over 97%, almost 98% success rate with people actually getting their miracle while they're there. So I think the one thing I do want to talk about is the summer campiness of it. Do you know what I mean? And my miracle and that part. We don't have a lot of time, so I just want to start it. And talking about, the first day we had the first ceremony, and then it was Tuesday morning. And we're all sitting in yoga class, which, I mean, our night ends at your night ends late at 2 in the morning. You get a couple hours of sleep, and then you're up at 7 a.m. with yoga. So it's the first time we did ceremony. It's the next morning, and we are all in yoga, and we hear a thud on the window, and a mourning dove hit the window while we're in yoga, and it rolls across the floor and dies right there while we're in yoga. And at that point, it was the first morning after the first ceremony, so the medicine is still in our systems. And I remember trying to hold back tears, and then all of a sudden it just spread across the room, where literally 6 dudes from the military, grown men, started crying because this dove died in yoga. And through that, so much actually came. For me, that was the catalyst of what helped me get my miracle during the day that day. And you were in yoga that day too, right?
I was.
That was something else for all those dudes to cry. Did you cry too?
I did, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Did you cry?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So like Clint was saying too, this is the beauty of when you actually, I believe, here you two are, I found my soul family.
Yeah.
Everyone was just so humble and down to earth and just letting their emotions just go and not be, there you go, back to that judgment. There was no judgment there at all.
No. Yeah.
And you go home with that. You've embodied that feeling now that everybody is interconnected.
Yeah.
And we all just want to be the best we can be.
Yeah.
And by experiences like that, I mean, that was just one of the things that you're seeing all these synchronicities.
Yeah.
And it's just an amazing experience.
Yeah. And guys, we want to share all of that with you, but we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about me getting my miracle. We're going to talk about Galen getting his miracle, as well as Linda. But guys, Rythmia was an amazing experience, and we want to share all of that with you guys, because at GCES, we believe in health, wealth, and happiness, and making sure that you're happy and healthy is definitely a part of being financially fit in your retirement and your future. So it's something to keep in mind. We'll be back in just a moment.
It's definitely a welcoming office. You're not going to walk into a very stuffy environment. We like to have fun, because if you're not having fun with what you're doing, what's it all about?
The biggest thing that we look for is someone that doesn't have a lot of experience in the financial industry, to be honest. We want to have people that don't have bad habits already work for us. And we really look for people that we want to be around, because it sounds kind of cliche, but our office and our employees are like our family, and we take really good care of our family. Tina, that does our business processing, we met her at a local car dealership where we would get our car serviced. And then we were looking for someone, and she applied for the job, and she was a perfect fit. And that's one of the things that I mean, not having someone from the financial world can end up being a good thing, because they're going to learn everything and do the things the way you want to do them for your clients, not bringing in their own way to do things. We want to have people working for us that are in it for the clients, not for themselves.
When people hear financial planning, they think retirement, but what about protecting your family? Rolling over an old 401k? Turning savings into an income?
At GCES, we take a full picture approach to your future. It's not just about retiring, it's about thriving.
That's why we focus on more than just money. Our approach is built on health, wealth, and happiness, because financial security should improve your life, not just your bank account.
No matter where you are in life, planning today makes all the difference for tomorrow. Welcome back, everyone, to Our Two Cents. We are talking all about Rythmia Life Advancement Center in Costa Rica today, and how it changed all of our lives for the better. And we're going to talk about miracles. I know, Linda, you got yours. You got in touch with who you were as a child, on the inside, on your soul level. Galen, what was your big miracle that came out of it, and what your epiphany was? How did it change you, and how did you get there?
Well, I mean, I got there by the course that they're providing for us, but I think it's really important for me to say that Clinton and I kind of went on this trip as a whim. So we didn't plan this out for a year or think it was something that we wanted to do. We kind of just got this idea and went with it, and then next thing you know, we're in Costa Rica doing a program. So the miracle for me, Show Me Who I Was, I was really happy with who I was when I got there, you know, and I wasn't, when I say that, I don't mean that I had, you know, I wasn't an alcoholic or a drug addict and I wasn't doing bad in life. I was actually soaring in life, but it made me, on the fourth night was the big night for me. It made me realize that, you know, I was in survival mode. You know, I had a messed up childhood, you know, and I don't want to get into details on TV about that, but it was horrible, you know, and there was great parts as well, but it made me confront, you know, my past, you know, and it wasn't so much the trauma that I had in my life, because I was also blown up by a bomb in Iraq. So there's tons of stuff that's hitting me. And that's why, you know, with the PTSD and all of these things, it was just connecting me back to myself. You know, and what does that mean for everybody else? I mean, to me, what I'm thinking in my head is if I did all of this on survival mode, what am I going to do now, you know, kind of with God on my side, you know, leading the way for me and putting me in these positions to have miracles for other people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so it did so much for me.
Yeah. So Rythmia, you know, I do want to talk a little bit more. For me, my whole miracle came from the morning dove. So mine was all about realizing that I am not a bad person. Do you know what I mean? Growing up a little bit in Western Pennsylvania was not the easiest, to say the least. So, you know, dealing with that growing up is what a lot of mine revolved around, and being happy with who I am today. Do you know what I mean? And being happy and understanding who that kid was before I got bullied growing up, and before, you know, things happened where that made me have a negative feeling about myself, which then led into being self-destructive and loving to have adventures and not thinking about consequences and not looking into the future. So, you know, we do talk about all of this stuff because we have been on a journey. And I think that they talk about this there too, Linda. Everyone is on their own journey. Do you know what I mean? And some people are at different places in that journey. And I'm sure you work with a lot of people trying to help them progress on whatever journey that is.
Definitely. And, you know, back to the whole essence of Rythmia is when we were there together, is that you realize everybody's on their own journey, and there's so much respect for that. And, you know, and that ties into, yes, what I do in my transformation coaching is because everyone's on their own journey. And I love how Galen said too, is that now realizing that God is on our side, that we are divine beings. Yeah. It really clicked there.
Yeah. I had a whole moment on the one night where they were blessing us and they're putting all this stuff all over you. And they say that whenever you go on an ayahuasca journey or an ayahuasca, you take the medicine, that you heal 7 generations backwards and 7 generations forward. And that whenever you take it, that your ancestors are dancing in the sky. And Thursday's like the big night there, right? Like that's the pinnacle of all the nights. It's from 6 o'clock at night until 9 the next morning. Mm-hmm. So it's a long night, but it's also the night that is traditional Yahe, and they have traditional Colombian shamans, and they bless you, and there's all this stuff going on. And while that's happening, it started to lightning and thunder out in the distance, and I had this whole connected to nature moment, which was really cool. Yeah. What do you guys think of the food?
Okay.
It was a good segue. What do you think of the food?
What was unbelievable is, again, Jerry Powell, who, you know, is the founder of Rythmia, had this all systematically, you know, all organic food, you know, and you are at your own discretion because it's, you know, it's you can choose your own food and just everything about it. Yeah.
The food was great while we were there. All organic, all natural, high frequency, I believe. We did. We got the cookbooks too. We haven't made any of it yet, but we do have the cookbooks. Yeah. What did you think of the food?
We have good intentions. I thought the food was amazing. So to me, I've always been, you know, with weight up and down and up and down. So you're thinking to yourself, oh, well, I'm not going to eat a carb ever. So that was fruit. So fruit was not in my life for a good 13, 14 years. And I can tell you that since I went to Rythmia that first day, I've eaten fruit to the point where I will eat a watermelon at 2 o'clock in the morning out of the fridge just to do it. And I'm still losing weight, and I'm eating fruit now. It's amazing.
I can verify that. I do have to cut up a watermelon every day for him, so he doesn't cut himself. But you did eat a whole seedless watermelon once out of the fridge.
I did.
Yeah, one of the mini ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Rythmia was an amazing experience. I know there's other amenities. Do you guys want to touch on any of the other amenities? You know, what was the other highlights of your experience there?
Okay, well, I'll tell you one that I did take advantage of is the fact that they had massages there.
Yeah.
And I actually even met the instructor on my second time. I've been to Rythmia twice. And I met the instructor of over all the massage therapists. I took advantage of massages. We can also take advantage of, there's cold plunges there, saunas.
Yeah.
We also have, they have the colonics
Yeah.
there.
If you don't know what that is at home, go ahead and Google it right now. Just press pause on your screen and Google that.
Yeah.
Colonic. They do those while you're there. That was a different experience.
So it's all about cleansing from the inside out, you know,
Yeah.
everything. And yeah, I took advantage of the fact that I thought I knew my breath work until I encountered these professionals that are really teaching us how to get into the breath work. And that was crazy good.
Yeah, so there are a bunch of different amenities. Galen, what would you say was your highlight very quickly about Rythmia?
It was just an overall amazing experience that I will never forget, and I would encourage anybody that wants to progress in life and find yourself, because at the end of the day, your eyes that you're seeing, that's all that's matter, and what you're seeing, it's all about you. So just find yourself.
Yeah. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us. Linda, thank you for joining us. Galen. Next week, guys, tune in with us. We're going to be with Linda again. We're going to be talking all about transformation and your mindset and how those things affect you on your day-to-day life. If you want to find out more about the Rythmia Life Advancement Center, there is a QR code right here. Scan that. You can look at their website, find out more information, or feel free to message us on Facebook if you want to talk to us about it. We'll share more information. Just reach out. See you guys soon. Thanks.